After much speculation, it is now official. Former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White has signed with AEW. He is All Elite and appeared on AEW Dynamite last night attacking Ricky Starks. We've got details on his signing. Plus, Tony Khan's major announcement was revealed, and it was regarding a UK stadium show later on this year. We've got details on that. Plus, we have brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions. FTR defeated the Guns. They will be staying inside AEW. Lucasaurus makes his return to AEW television last night. It was MJF Day on AEW Dynamite, but he was interrupted as the four-pillar rivalry continues on AEW TV. Trent's mother Sue returns to AEW Dynamite. AEW All Access gave us an insight into the backstage drama between Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, as well as more details on Thunder Rosa's back injury. And former Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham reveals he acted unprofessionally when he lost the Ring of Honor World Championship last year. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. And let's start off talking about the big signing in AEW, that being none other than Jay White. The wait is over. Jay White is hashtag All Elite. The Bullet Club leader's future has been source of much speculation recently, especially following his departure from New Japan Pro Wrestling after a loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling match at Battle in the Valley back in February. Now, some reports linked him with a move to WWE, but AEW nabbed his signature in the end, as documented by AEW President, CEO, and Head of Creative Tony Khan on Twitter. White, as of right now, at the time of recording, has yet to comment on the signing with AEW. Of course, as I mentioned, some thought it was a shoo-in that he was going to be going to WWE, but it was reported over the weekend that there was really no talk of Jay White over WrestleMania weekend, and the feeling was that he would probably end up going to AEW, and that's exactly what happened. Khan's confirmation that White had signed with All Elite Wrestling came following his shocking appearance on last night's edition of AEW Dynamite. The Switchblade was part of the opening segment, which saw him help Juice Robinson deliver a beatdown on Ricky Starks. It appears that White has his first feud lined up, aligning with Robinson, that suggests the Bullet Club will have a role to play in All Elite Wrestling moving forward. As of this recording, it remains to be seen if White will continue to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Khan's tweet indicates that he signed an AEW contract, as the All Elite graphic is reserved for full-time roster members. However, AEW's working relationship with New Japan has been well documented, and it enables stars from both promotions to work at each other's shows. Both companies will also have another joint show this summer in the form of AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door 2 pay-per-view in Canada, and it will be interesting to see if White gets involved in the big event later on this year. Last month, it was reported that White had held talks with AEW and WWE. The former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion supposedly was split on which company to join at the time. The White himself has yet to confirm if he held talks with Vince McMahon's Sports Entertainment Promotion, and of course it's yet to be seen if McMahon's return to creative power in WWE had any factor on Jay White's decision to ultimately sign with All Elite Wrestling. Should we get any more details on that, of course, we'll let you know. But let me know your thoughts about Jay White signing with AEW in the comment section below. Now, as I mentioned, going into last night's edition of AEW Dynamite, we were promised a major and huge announcement by AEW President Tony Khan, and Khan has revealed his big announcement on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Referencing the time before AEW was founded, four pioneers, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Kenny Omega, and their landmark first event of All In, Khan made a big announcement. AEW is going to make its UK debut this summer, Sunday, August 27th, for the first time ever. AEW All In London, England. Also, to announce the site of the event, Adam Cole announced that All In was going to come to Wembley Stadium in London, England. The event will mark not only the 100th anniversary of Wembley Stadium, but it will also seem that AEW will be tying in the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers as their network partner's parent company, referencing the dual celebrations in the official press release about the event. Now, there was no formal announcement regarding whether or not AEW would tape additional shows during their time in London, and obviously obviously, some are split whether it's a big, huge announcement for us. Obviously, over here in the UK, it's a massive deal. AEW's first London show, but also not just that. Wembley Stadium, 90,000 fans possibly coming to an AEW show certainly is a big deal. Now, after the announcement regarding AEW All In was made on AEW Dynamite, more has been released via the press release saying, quote, AEW plants flag at iconic Wembley Stadium with a massive UK special event on Sunday, August 27. AEW's London debut marks first professional wrestling event at Wembley Stadium in more than 30 years. Tickets for AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium are on sale May 5th. Pre-registration is also available for priority access. During last night's live episode of AEW Dynamite from Long Island, New York, CEO Tony Khan, star Adam Cole, and host Nigel McGuinness announced that AEW's highly anticipated UK debut will take place in London at the iconic Wembley Stadium on Sunday, August 27. AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium marks AEW's first show outside of North America and the first time that professional wrestling has taken centre stage at Wembley Stadium in more than 30 years. Tickets for AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium go on sale to the general public Monday, May 5th at 9 a.m. British Summer Time, effective immediately. Fans in the UK can pre-register for early access to the event. Tickets at ticketmaster.co.uk/AEW Wembley. Pre-registered access and priority pre-sales will take place prior to the general on-sale date. Beginning May 5th, tickets can be purchased at ticketmaster.co.uk/AEW Wembley. The UK is one of the most important markets in professional wrestling, and AEW is coming in hot as the #1 wrestling company in the UK on television, said Tony Khan. We want our debut in London to be epic in scale, and there's no better venue than Wembley Stadium to deliver what I know will be one of the greatest events in AEW's history. This April also marks 100 years of Warner Bros. And 100 years of Wembley Stadium. It's a fitting time to come together for AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium. The announcement comes on the heels of AEW's tremendous growth in TV viewership in the UK, with AEW programming serving as the highest ratings driver for men's ages 16 to 34 on ITV4 since the start of 2022. AEW reached 2.8 million men on ITV platforms in 2022 and began 2023 by increasing that reach by another 45% among men ages 16 to 34. AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium is far from the Khan's family first foray into London or the legendary venue. Shahid Khan is the chairman of Fulham Football Club, which earned promotion to the English Premier League with playoff victories at Wembley Stadium in both 2018 and 2020. The elder Khan is also the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have regularly hosted a home game at the stadium since 2013 and will return once again during the 2023 National Football League season for a 9th game at Wembley. AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium, which will be a homecoming for several top stars, including AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter, Saraya, Nigel McGuinness-Pack, Anthony Ogogo, and more, will be produced in conjunction with Live Nation Entertainment. Certainly quite interesting, some of the names that were mentioned there as well. It mentioned Anthony Ogogo and Pac, so certainly it looks like they're going to be there as well. But what are your thoughts? Is this an announcement that was fitting of the hype? Do you believe it to be a big deal? Isn't it a big deal? It's a big deal for us over here in the UK. It's a stadium show. That would be a big deal as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is it a huge announcement? Did it live up to the hype? What say you? Now, one of the big stories as well going into last night's episode of AEW Dynamite was, would FTR be sticking around in All Elite Wrestling? Well, there were new champions crowned on last night's AEW Dynamite to cap off an already newsworthy edition of the show after making an entrance with a new licensed theme. And actually, let's talk about that licensed theme in just a few seconds. But actually, let's start off talking about the match itself. There were new AEW World Tag Team Champions. The Guns did not retain their AEW Tag Team Championships in the main event of the night. After a hard-fought battle where they attempted to swindle a victory in numerous different ways, in the end, FTR were able to conquer the Guns. FTR not only captured the AEW Tag Team Championships, but also will remain in AEW according to commentary. With Mark Briscoe coming out to the ring to celebrate with FTR, the show ended on a joyful note. Now, obviously, there was a lot of speculation about, are FTR going to be joining WWE? Are they going to be returning to the company where they were formerly known as the Revival? Well, if last night's match was the definitive conclusion to the contract questions, then it looks as though it is a resounding no to FTR rejoining WWE. In an exciting and at times hard-hitting match between the AEW Tag Team Champions The Guns and FTR were able to recapture the former gold. After avoiding a variety of DQ attempts by the Guns, FTR were finally able to pick up the pinfall victory and the AEW Tag Team Championships. Also noteworthy, they will not be forced to quit AEW, as was the match stipulation if they lost. While there's been no formal announcement made regarding an additional contract length with AEW, at least the looming threat of leaving AEW in storyline has ended. So it would appear that FTR are going to be staying around, which had been rumored. There had been reports that they were actually locked into long-term deals with AEW, and Dax Harwood's claims on his podcast were just a part of a work. There'll be a new episode of Dax Harwood's podcast coming out soon, so it'll be interesting to see what he says about it. Now, as I mentioned, the Guns also have a brand new theme song as well, ahead of that big career versus title match where the Guns put their titles on the line. There was a new theme for one team. The Guns made a big new entrance using a licensed song as their theme. Debuting Many Men by 50 Cent as their entrance theme, the Guns were ready to go to war with FTR, so the Guns also have a brand new theme song. What did you think of it? You can let me know. I mentioned last night's Dynamite was very newsworthy, and one such newsworthy item was the return of Lucasaurus. Christian Cage summoned a ghost from Jungle Boy Jack Perry's past on Wednesday. Former AEW World Tag Team Champion Luchasaurus returned to Dynamite in a backstage vignette, which saw Luchasaurus emerge from a room full of red light, not uttering a single word. As of this recording, nothing else has happened with either Christian Cage or Luchasaurus. The appearance marks Luchasaurus' first appearance on AEW programming since November of last year, when he lost a steel cage match to Perry at AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view. Christian has also not wrestled since his final burial match loss to Perry at the Revolution pay-per-view. While the video is quite dark, it is possible that Luchasaurus is wearing a new mask, as the wrestler recently found himself at the center of a lawsuit regarding his mask design. According to the lawsuit, AEW had the right to use the mask in a wrestling capacity, but not in a merchandise or action figures capacity, as the company has been doing. Of course, Luchasaurus is an AEW original, wrestling for the company since its inception in 2019. He recently betrayed his former championship-winning tag team partner Perry in favor of the dastardly Christian Cage. Jack Perry is currently involved in a potential rivalry that has been brewing amongst the four pillars of AEW, that being Jack Perry, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and AEW World Champion MJF. The three men interrupted the reigning champion's rebar mitzvah on an episode of Dynamite earlier this month. There was a bit of a continuation of this Pillars rivalry that we're going to get into in just a second, but certainly Luchasaurus is back. Now, speaking of MJF, it was a big episode of Dynamite for the AEW World Champion. It was a big day for MJF in his native Long Island, New York. MJF was just as wild as one might have expected to be, including a full musical performance and another story from his childhood, bringing a full band performance of Pennies from Heaven featuring the vocals of MJF and some rather impressive dance moves as well. MJF Day continued with a presentation. While the AEW fans clearly had heat with the Oyster Bay administrator, he still declared April 5th MJF Day in the town of Oyster Bay and presented him with a giant key to the city. Leading the crowd in a "You Deserve It" chant for himself, the crowd also voraciously booed Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. This time, the story didn't include any felonies, rather just a rude teacher who seemed to target a baby MJF when his mind appeared to be wandering. The moral was simple: don't be like Mrs. Benedict. Don't be a stupid bitch. Getting the Long Island crowd to chant ADD and stupid bitch, he ended up in an inspirational note that the little children of Long Island could work hard and grow up to be anything they want to be, just accept him. MJF was primed for an encore when instead a member of the band revealed himself as Jungle Boy and a physical altercation broke out. The duo was still being broken up when Sammy Guevara made his ring entrance past them, taking time to mock them both en route. As I mentioned, this feud has been continuing with the four pillars, seemingly, with Jungle Boy revealing himself to be in the band, attacking the champion. As MJF and Jungle Boy were separated on the ramp, Sammy Guevara entered for his match against Commander between them. Guevara picked up the victory over Commander, and afterward he jumped on the mic to address the crowd. With Jungle Boy surrounded by security, shown backstage looking on, MJF watching on separately, as well as Darby Allin, who was creeping around in an unspecified location but was shown watching, Sammy Guevara told MJF that he lied, cheated, and manipulated his way to the top. He said that Max sold his soul to become a pillar in AEW. Sammy Guevara ended on saying, "Screw Jungle Boy, screw Darby Allin, and screw MJF." Backstage, MJF looked on and was displeased by the in-ring segment. Jungle Boy and Darby Allin weren't shown again. Obviously, it looks like we are building still to this four-way match, possibly at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship between all four pillars of AEW. It wasn't the only return we saw last night on Dynamite. Sue is back, probably the biggest return of the night. Let's be honest here. I mean, forget Jay White, forget forget everyone, Sue is back. The big story. Trent Beretta's mother, Sue, was back on AEW Dynamite in Long Island, giving the best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Orange Cassidy, a ride in her signature white minivan. While the trio ended up unsuccessful in their bid for the AEW World Trios Championships against the House of Black, it doesn't dampen the return that is the joy of Sue returning to AEW Dynamite. Let me know your thoughts about the biggest story, that's Sue coming back to AEW Dynamite, in the comment section below. Now, following AEW Dynamite, of course, was the latest episode of AEW All Access. AEW All Access has delved into a variety of backstage drama, and on last night's episode, including the backstage altercation between Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston. Giving more details about the reported backstage altercation between Kingston and Guevara, viewers heard from both perspectives. While very few details were actually shared, Sammy described the promo that seemingly caught the ire of Kingston, with Guevara saying, "When Tay and I got to the back, it was a whole situation," and adding later regarding the overall drama between the two, he didn't think the altercation was simply due to what he said during the promo, rather noting, "I think Eddie had a personal vendetta with me. I mean, I'm a pretty easy target for people not to like. Then all of a sudden I get the TNT bout and people just hate, and I felt that energy for months, but we didn't deal with it." With Kingston and Guevara filming a scene together of Sammy asking Eddie if they were okay, the two actually engaged in a amicable conversation without any reality show antics. In the end, Kingston confirmed that Guevara that their beef was indeed squashed. Elsewhere on the show, we also saw Thunder Rosa open up about her back injury as well. Last week, we saw Britt Baker have some pretty tough stuff to say about the former AEW Women's World Champion. And on this week's episode, Thunder Rosa revealed more about the injury that has her sidelined. On this week's edition of AEW All Access, former AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa revealed more about the injury that has prevented her from being cleared for an in-ring return. Meeting at the South Texas Spine and Joint Institute with her doctor, chiropractor Dr. David Kaiser discussed a little bit more about Thunder Rosa's injury. Thunder Rosa noted in the clip that she had been given a lower back, having a lower back injury for so long that she couldn't even remember when it began. The doctor shared some details, reminding Rosa that she has herniated discs. He clarified the problem as being multifaceted, as there are 2 disc injuries with tears, with the tears being the longer portion of the healing time. Rosa was tearful as she described winning the AEW Women's World Championship and wished she would have enjoyed that moment more now that she has been away from the ring for so long. So no real indication as to when she's going to be back, but more details about actually what her injury is. Finally, Jonathan Gresham, he had a short stay in AEW/Ring of Honor, and he had some issues with AEW President Tony Khan. Before he popped up in Impact Wrestling at the end of 2022, Jonathan Gresham held the Ring of Honor World Championship in the summer. However, he lost the title to Claudio Castagnoli at Death Before Dishonor and subsequently exited the company following a heated meeting with Tony Khan, during which he requested his release. While speaking with House of Wrestling, Jonathan Gresham reflected on what occurred leading up to the conversation and his mindset going into the meeting. He said, quote, "I can admit that I was acting very unprofessionally while trying and failing to convey the message to my former employer," Gresham said. "After weeks of feeling like I wasn't being heard or blown off, I was frustrated, to be honest." Gresham explained that under the leadership of Sinclair Broadcast Group, he was able to communicate with management in a concise manner, whereas he felt that wasn't the case with Khan, and he had become increasingly frustrated with that. "I know TK is a very busy guy owning a lot of different businesses, and I'm a very small gear in this machine. That just came after so much time thinking about it through therapy and things of that nature." Gresham recalled that he thought Khan didn't respect him and revealed that his frustrations were only made worse by the fact that his mother was in the hospital at the time. He said that going into the meeting with Khan, he anticipated asking for his release from the company, but things escalated and he ultimately regretted yelling and cursing during their conversation. Gresham noted that he and Khan ended their professional relationship on good terms and revealed that he approached him after his match with Castagnoli to shake his hand and tell him there were no hard feelings. So certainly interesting comments by the former Ring of Honor World Champion. But there you go, guys. It's the latest AEW/Ring of Honor news. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You remember you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.